Hey, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay. Shannon? Okay, I can see you there. Okay, awesome. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dana Hinton. I've met some of you, some of your faces look familiar. I'm the executive director over here at Kick Cancer. And this is our second Thrive Together talk. How exciting. And today we have the beautiful and amazing Diana Rudulph here to join us. But we are just so happy you're here. And I just want to emphasize that. For those of you who were with us last month, I'll keep this brief because you've already heard this, but I just wanted to explain what this space is all about. When I started here 6 months ago, Season and the Kick Cancer Board and I decided that we really wanted to create a space that was about offering support beyond our Kick Cancer starter kits. And that is exactly what we are here to do. We are here to breathe hope into you, into your journey, into your hearts, and into one another. So, for those of you who don't know me, my sister's battle with ALS is what brought me to this nonprofit sector and really what helped create this community. Even though she's gone, I still find a lot of strength in community, and I still join ALS groups like this. And it's just one of the many things that I do today to help me feel connected to her and honestly to give back to the community that gave so much to us. So that's what we're trying to achieve here. And I hope that's what you guys get out of today. Oh, and I just mentioned the Kick Cancer Starter Kit. So if any of you are like, what the heck is that? Don't worry. At the end of today's call, we are going to talk in more detail about our Kick Cancer Starter Kits, how you can get one of your own. So if that's something that you're interested in, these kits are filled with so much love, so many products that help with nutrition and detox and helping you get rid of toxins in your home. So we would love to get one in your hands. And stick around at the end of this call because Shannon and I are going to go over some of the things in the kits so that you can get your hands on one, but also learn how to use it. So before we get started, I just have a few announcements. Today, actually, we soft launched our first ever Dash for Hope. It is a virtual walkathon that's going to take place on September 28th. And we would love, love, love your support through this for our mission. It's going to be a fun walk that you can do from anywhere. So I will share the link in the chat in a moment, but you can create your own team. You can support our Kick Cancer team and then just get out and walk on September 28th. And again, you can sign up today, even though it's a soft launch and we haven't really launched it to the whole world quite yet. You guys are the first. We also are going to launch, which is super exciting, Kick Cancer birthdays. So we really want to celebrate your child on their birthday with a fundraiser that benefits our mission. In return, we'll be showering your kiddo in all kinds of Kick Cancer swag. And it's just a great opportunity for you to help us raise funds for other families that are going through this journey. And lastly, but certainly not least, you guys will be excited about this. Our wonderful founder, Susan Johnson, who is with us today, is hosting a free live and interactive event on May 23rd at this exact time. So 4 p.m. Pacific time. It'll be open. It'll be an open and candid conversation with Dr. Charles Pennick. It's totally free. So I will drop the registration link in this chat so that you guys can take advantage of that and sign up. And anyone who joins that talk gets Season's Thrive Through Cancer Formula protocol. So definitely jump on board for that. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Susan.
Thank you, Dana. Hello, I'm glad you guys are here. If you can turn your cameras on, it's so much more. Hi, Sherry. It's good to see you. And all the kiddos in the car, that's so much more fun. Good to see you. Thanks for being on. Hi, Camille. I see you turning your camera on while you're driving. Oh, it's good to see you again. So fun. Well, thank you. Hi, Tony. Hello. Listen, you guys show up as you are. Like that's what's so important about these calls is you can show up like Tony. I actually want to acknowledge Tony for a second because this place is for those of you who know what it's like to be in the midst of exhaustion and struggle and fear and joy all at the same time. Right? And so there's nothing that looks perfect about this. It's actually really messy. So show up as you are, and we're so glad that you're here. And I'm really excited to be able to introduce mi amiga mejor de 25 años.
Muy bien.
Gracias. So that translation, my best friend of 25 years. Diana actually has walked with us through this whole process. Like her and I met freshman year of college. Like we lived on the same dorm floor at our private Christian university in Los Angeles. And from that moment forward, like became best friends and have been able to get married, raise our kids together, well, from a distance. But she was the first person that just literally, her and her husband locked arms with us as soon as our son was diagnosed. And actually, this is kind of a funny story. But when we were inpatient, we were treated at Loma Linda University, and they lived about, well, with LA traffic, it could be 3 hours away. But they lived in Pasadena area at the time. And so we, of course, were feeding from that moment. As soon as my son was diagnosed, we were feeding him really healthy and being really particular. And so they were coming to visit within the first 2 days that we were admitted. And Diana's like, or I think Zach, her husband, was communicating with my husband, and what can we bring? What was it, like the $30 hamburger? So there was this like bougie restaurant near the hospital that had these healthy grass-fed burgers. They showed up, and Zach, the first thing he said as they walked in the hospital room was like, we basically just spent our entire salary on these grass-fed. Do you remember that, Diana?
Yeah. So funny.
So expensive, so good.
So definitely.
And clearly it was like a moment that I can appreciate. But anyways, all that to say, from that moment forward, Diana's been a part of Kit Cancer as a donor, giving me ideas. And actually, she's the one that really inspired me to even have a heart of generosity. When we were in college, this woman was starting movements as a college student with no money. She was starting a movement in our little hometown, which was kind of a low-income area in Azusa, California, and changing the lives of kids all over our community. And so I remember we were on a mission trip together, and she had this like vision that she was going to come home from Mexico, our mission trip, and create a movement that impacted the lives of the kids that were local to us. And from that moment forward, it was called Hearts of Joy. And she created a movement that was impacting our community. Is it still going, Diana?
AP, no, it's no longer, but it did go for many, many years. So that's,
Yeah, it continued. After she left, it continued. And so all that to say, now she's actually been in the education community for 20 years. And now she, for those of you who are in Southern California, you have got to look up Evergrow Academy. Now she started and founded a private school. As 2020 hit, she's been homeschooling for years. And then when 2020 hit, she just saw the need of kids to be connected to community, kids to be connected to movement, kids to be connected to activity. And she was doing Zoom kids workout classes that I made my kids join. It's awesome. And so all of this, she saw a need and knew that it needed a solution, and she was willing to show up and be that person. And now she has this incredible academy in Southern California, and we'll put the link in the chat shortly to Evergrow Academy. But all that to say, we knew that we know that part of thriving through cancer, both pediatrics and adults, is movement, because movement increases endorphins, and there's so many benefits around that. And we can detox with movement, all of that. So I was like, you guys, we call her Tia in my house, which is auntie in Spanish. So we've got to bring Tia on. She's going to talk to us about movement. And so Diana, I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for sharing with this community.
Yeah. Thank you guys. It's such an honor to be here. I absolutely love working anything with Season. If she told me to go do a lemonade stand in front of her house, I would. I love, she's my girl since 25 years ago. So, and what you've been doing, Season and team, Kit Cancer Movement team, is so empowering, so beautiful, just helping so many families. So it is an honor for me to be here. So thank you guys.
Well, and Diana, I don't think I've told you this yet.
What?
But, and for those of you listening, this is a sneak peek. You have to stay tuned. But we are planning our next Kit Cancer retreat, which Diana has spoken at I think maybe all of them.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, she spoke at almost all of our Kit Cancer retreats. So all that to say, stay tuned for 2025. And I'm sure you'll get to meet Diana in real life. So Shannon and Diana, I'll let you guys take it over and go from here.
Yeah.
Yes. My name is Shannon Scheller. I actually found Susan Johnson a little bit over 7 years ago when my daughter was diagnosed with cancer. And here I am 7 years later, just trying to continue serving our community as Kit Cancer and Susan had served our family so well. And so thank you again, Diana, for being here. Before we get into what Diana has prepared to bring to you guys on this topic of movement and the importance of it during and after treatment, I do want to take the time to acknowledge how depressing treatment can be and how easy it is to just close your hospital door and not move. But hopefully after today, you will feel encouraged and have a few tips to take with you to start applying movement as part of their treatment as soon as possible. And so, Diana, we're just gonna give it to you and
Awesome.
go.
Thank you. Thank you so much, you guys. Shannon, exactly what you said. I'll start there real quick. Wherever you guys are with your cancer journey, with your kids, yourself, wherever you are, everything that I will talk to you about today is in no way trying to make you feel like, oh no, I'm not doing enough, or I'm not moving enough, or like, oh, I feel more depressed now because I'm not doing anything. She said that is like the exact opposite of what I want you to grasp from today. If anything, I hope you just learn a couple nuggets of things that can be so practical and so simple for you to implement as a whole family, just to make movement and make exercise a part of your day to day, even if it's 5 minutes at a time. 5 minutes sprinkled in the morning, and then later 5 minutes sprinkled at 2 o'clock. Like you can make it part of your lifestyle, and it doesn't have to be an hour at the gym or an hour, physical activity outside. It can really be sprinkled in. But I will say, one of the most empowering movements or experiences I have had. I'm sorry if you guys hear some weird sounds. I'm not sure what's going on. Do you hear anything weird? Okay, suddenly I just heard something going off my speakers. But so a quick backstory on my end. Like Susan said, I've been working in the education realm for many, many years as a teacher and educator of all ages. But a huge passion of mine while I was getting my teaching degree was in physical fitness, kinesiology. So I got lots of certifications in all kinds of things to teach kickboxing. Susan was one of my first students. Remember, at APU in college, I was getting my first certification so I can go teach all the classes at the gym. And Susan was my student. And I'm like, in our little tiny dorm, I'm like, come on, follow me, guys. And just so I could get certified so I could go teach at all the gyms. So I started teaching everywhere and personal training and just fell in love with fitness. Well, down the road, like after, I don't know, 10 years or so of being a professional personal trainer, I got this incredible experience to work at Arcadia Methodist Hospital. And it was for a special clinical trial they were doing, but specifically, it was a wellness program where they were bringing in breast cancer warriors and breast cancer survivors, those that had just finished treatment within like the last 6 months or so. And they had a great wellness program for them. It was like a 3-month wellness program where they would get meeting with a counselor, a nutritionist, me as a personal trainer, fitness educator, and then a physical therapist. And those 3 months changed my life as a fitness instructor. I got to work with these incredible, I call them Wonder Woman. They were my Wonder Woman, my superheroes. They were all fighting cancer. And one of the most special moments, and what I did to them, I'd meet them every Tuesday, Thursday for 1 hour, and we did Zumba, which is basically dance. All we did was turn on the music and they would just follow me and dance. And then I would do some flexibility training, some strength training. But one day we had a new student come in and I could tell she was just not feeling it. She was kind of like, why am I here? This is so dumb. I don't want to be here. And she had a wig on. And I could just tell she felt, I could read her like just, not, and I'm trying to be happy. Hello, welcome. Thanks for being here. And then, like maybe 5 minutes in, she just stopped. She just stopped. And I said, sweetie, are you okay? And the women there were very empowering to one another. And she just said, I can't do this. I can't do this with the wig. I can't do any of this. And like, I just almost started crying when hearing her. And one other lady said, sweetie, just take it off. And then women started taking off their wigs. I want to cry. And it was so empowering. And they just said, just take it off. Be you. This is where we can just let loose And she goes, I have not danced. I have not moved my body. I have not done anything since getting diagnosed with cancer. And she took that wig off. We all cried. We hugged her, blasted the music, and we danced for like the next 45 minutes. And she was dancing and crying and laughing and crying. And it was the most healing like hour of my life with her. And I hope that that just gives you a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of inspiration that no matter where you guys are in your journey, it doesn't have to look pretty. It doesn't have to look perfect. You don't have to know how to do all the exercises. Wherever you are, let your hair loose, wiggles off, get your kiddos, just even if it's just little sprinkles of 3 minutes of joy that this can bring, and go for it, because it can be so empowering in so many amazing, beautiful ways. So I'm going to share my screen. Do you want, yes, I want to continue. Let me see if you guys can see all this. You see that, you guys? Just move. Okay, so I'm gonna dedicate this really to the whole family. I do have a lot more kids fitness in here, being that I believe most of your journey right now is with children, correct, Susan? Yes, okay, most everybody here. Okay, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on all these slides, but I think we are all very well versed in the basics of why we should exercise. You don't need to be a doctor. You don't need to be a professional in exercise science to know this, but we all know that exercise makes our bodies stronger, makes our bodies feel better, makes our mind and our emotions and our heart, everything is just so interconnected. When our bodies are healthy, our emotional wellness and our mental wellness is also healthy. So this is a beautiful list of so many things that come from exercising and making a part of your day-to-day. I'm going to go to the next screen real quick because I really want to focus on, okay, so what are the benefits though of cancer warriors and even those that have just finished, treatment too. So very similar to the last slide, we start seeing a lot of the same things: increased energy levels, body functions. So a couple things that are very serious, more specific to the cancer journey, is that it really helps boost that immune system, those immune cells, to help attack the cancer cells even more. When we are physically active, it is just the body's natural response for more oxygen and blood flow to rush the cells. And when a cell has a lot more healthy blood flow and oxygen flowing through on a regular basis, that cell is going to be that much more empowered to fight off sickness, to fight off virus, and to fight off the cancer cells. So instantly, it's going to really turn on a deoxygenated cell that isn't producing as much oxygen and blood flow as it should, is naturally weaker and is naturally not going to be able to fight off cancer as well as it should be. And a lot of kiddos and people that are doing maybe immunotherapies and different things, that's only going to boost those therapies all the more when we have more blood flow and oxygen flowing through there. Also, post-surgery of any type and during treatment, your body's going to be able to respond to it faster and heal faster. Exercise really helps us to recover so much faster, especially the symptoms that we might get post-treatment. It really helps to minimize those and to be able to get your body back to that level of homeostasis, this level of balance that your body so bad craves for. Improves your mood, just like non-cancer warriors, your self-confidence, improves your appetite, and then just really improves those long-term deficits in physical function and fitness abilities. Now, a lot of our kiddos often feel neuropathy, right, during treatment, a lot of stiff joints, knees, ankles, shoulders, low back, depending how much they might be just in a laying down position too. So if we can embed some more movement, just fluid movement through their body, that's going to help prevent that stiffness in joints and the stiffness in the general muscular skeletal system of our body, prevent that from getting worse and worse and worse. One more thing too that I think is just so great is exercise induces what we call angiogenesis, which is basically creation of new blood flow, new blood vessels. I mean, more blood vessels, more power to our body with the more oxygen and blood flow. So we want to attack that cancer as fast as we can and as effective as we can. And so don't forget about movement. Don't forget about exercise. It is a free therapy. It is, you don't need to hire a personal trainer. If you can, if you have a PT or something, I mean, the hospitals have a lot of these programs now, but you can do this. You can do this, and you can make it a part of your just little by little everyday lifestyle with your kiddos to help get a lot of these benefits right away infused in them. Okay, when should you start exercising? Well, don't wait, like ASAP. But here's the deal: obviously, doctor approval. If your little guy, little girl can't move that much, is really feeling ill, hurt, whatever their symptoms might be right now, you're going to listen to their body, and you're going to, be able to take them through what you think they can or can't handle. But really, fitness, you guys, can be incorporated during treatment, right after you're done treatment, just like I did with those breast cancer warriors. And it can really bring in lots of benefits post treatment to just enhance your body getting stronger and stronger. Ladies, do you want to mention anything about this so far? Any comments?
Yeah, so Diana, I mean, you've covered so much already, but it really is something that we tend to put on the back burner because it's not a focus. So this is it's a really good reminder, but not only for us, but it's a really good distraction for the kids. It's a great distraction for them. Not only that, it's creating endorphins, right? But when you're at the hospital, the oncology nurses are already encouraging you to get your kid out walking that floor twice. So once in the morning and once in the evening, if they're able to. And so take that as an opportunity to be like, how am I going to make this the best walk ever? Can we pull some pranks on some of the nurses? Can we bring something with us, like a balloon? My daughter used to take a fake shot, and she'd be like chasing after the nurses, like, come get your shot. We'd be doing lunges down the hallway, making it, competitive sometimes. And we also had music. And sometimes it was even at inappropriate times because they'd put her on Benadryl through the day. So we'd play music at 11 o'clock at night and get in trouble for it, but whatever.
Yep.
But it was just find whatever is going to light your kid up through those hallways, and take that as just the best opportunity to exercise the best they can, and just make it fun.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next few slides and minutes here together. Exactly that, how to make it fun and simple. Season, I can't remember if it was, I think it was you with Kicker. Didn't you guys have like a mini Nerf gun battle in your room, right? And make an awesome course, really. Like there's so many, that's movement. Getting the kids to like shoot and go under the bed and over, and so many cool creative ways that for them, it's not even going to necessarily feel like exercise when it's in a game format, when it's in a competition format, a prank. I love that prank the nurse format, like so much fun. So many different ways on how to do this. Okay. So a couple, like if I have to say 4 must-haves in even those games that you might create, what are 4 things that we should always strive to get our kids that are fighting cancer to do? So we really want flexibility and balance, especially because that tight stiffness in joints and the musculoskeletal system. Aerobic training, just cardio, and that can be done through walking up and down those halls, throwing music on and having a dance party. Strength training, I'm not talking heavy weights here at all, absolutely not. Just your own body weight, the little one's own body weight, in just some very basic things when they're feeling capable. And even like, I'm talking even little 3-year-olds can do this, 2, 3-year-olds, very basic, using their own body weight to do certain things that get them stronger. And I'll give you some examples in a moment. And this has to be embedded in 1, 2, and 3. It's gotta be fun. And we'll hopefully get some ideas on how you guys can make it fun for them too. We've already heard some great things. Okay, so what do I mean by flexibility? So like I said, a lot of neuropathy really starts getting the body feeling super stiff. And so check on how your little guy is feeling and just go very simple. Progression is key here. So if they're in their bed, in the hospital or at home, and just like, Mom, I really just don't want to move, you can sit them up seated on their bed, and you can simply do different things. For example, moving their toes. I wish I had like a big old zoom camera here where I could show you. But if their legs are flat out on the bed, up and down, flex your feet, point your toes. Flex your feet, point your toes. When you flex the feet, those hamstrings are getting nice and long. So you start doing that just sitting down, flex and point and flex, right? You can do the same thing with your arms. They're sitting down. Okay, reach up, try to grab some like coconuts off the palm tree. Reach, reach, reach. And they're just doing that like straight from the bed, right? Or imagine you're like pulling, you got to pull me out of the water. Like you give them some kind of image, and they're just stretching their bodies from a seated position. Then if you notice like that, they could totally do the standing up. Instead of the flexing and the pointing of the feet sitting down, you have them stand up, and you just go up and down, up to your tippy toes and down, up and down, kind of like calf raises, if you will. And then you make it a little harder. You're like, you know what? Can you hold on to something? And we're going to try to balance a little bit and go up and down with one leg, up to the balls of your feet and back down, up and down. And then you might change it up just a little bit more now that they're standing. Say, you know what? We're going to go up to the balls of our feet, hold it. We're going to just rotate, look over here, add some more motion, and you just make it a little bit harder. But that's just progression. So don't feel like you need to go hard, go so much, do too many exercises at once. Just start off really, really basic. But flexibility, you guys, I can't like stress it enough. And this can even be done by finding some cool yoga videos online. I have some examples for you in the next few slides. But flexibility is really great for helping, even when they're sleeping, when their muscles and their bodies are able to move more fluidly. Even sleep is going to feel better. It's not going to feel as like sometimes rigid. You're going to be able to move their bodies even in the course of the night sleeping here. So here's some more examples here. I kind of gave you the seated heels and toes lifts. I'm going to talk about walk the line real quick. A lot of kids love this in my experience with kids fitness because it's like a game. It's like a competition, if you will. So in a hospital even, you could, sometimes the floors have natural lining. They have different lines, or even outside on the sidewalks, there's lines. And you say, you know what, guys, we're going to walk the line. You're going to try to balance your whole body, and you're just going to step over the line. And if you step off, you make it a game. If you say, like, the floor is lava, there's lava all around us. You don't want to get off that line. And so they're like just balancing on a beam, if you will, but on a line. And then from there, you can make it harder and harder as you go. Like, okay, so this time I want you to keep walking the line, but you're going to close your eyes. Can you do it? And anytime you close your eyes and try to balance is always that much harder. But balance training, you guys, makes their brains, the right brain and the left brain is working this neuroplasticity, which basically just makes the white and the gray matter of your brain really work together and enhance coordination. That really fires a lot when we're working on balance. And so we want our kids, even throughout treatment, to really be using their brains. And maybe they don't want to use their brains academically. Maybe they're tired and they're like, oh, I don't want to do school. I don't feel good. But if we can make it a game, even in balance training, that's also really going to enhance brain power, which enhances motor skill power, and just, makes their bodies even stronger for that. But you just make this a little bit harder as you go. So if you notice the list here, old school windmills where you touch one ankle and then you come up and you touch the other. Sometimes people call them helicopters. Hi, Miss Sayla. You can literally kick soccer balls if they're outside, if they're in a backyard. I'm hoping that hospitals are having these like outdoor courtyards now where they do have certain play areas for kids too, if they're able to do that. But so many great things. The last thing here, pick up cotton balls or marbles with your toes. Guys, that is a great exercise. Even non-cancer related. If you're ever dealing with foot pain from plantar fasciitis, or if your little ones are saying, oh my gosh, my ankles really hurt, make it a game. Put some marbles or little cotton balls on the floor and time them and have like a little jar or bucket, if you will. Or even if it's just your hand, you're going to say, hey, on the count of 3, with your toes, you're going to try to pick up as many cotton balls and marbles as you can and put them in my hand or put them in this little bucket. And that motion of picking up with their toes, I mean, you guys can do it right now. If you're sitting wherever you're sitting, just try to like imagine your toes are picking up marbles. That is so good on all those ligaments, our toes, and even just all around the ankle. Really helpful for them to, again, fight that neuropathy, that stiffness of joints. And it could be a really fun, just little game for them, like a race on how many they can pick up. I put this little website here. St. Jude has actually a lot of great pediatric exercises and fitness modalities for kids. So that might be helpful for you guys. Okay. Do you have to do 10 reps of each? No. If they want to do more, do more. If they want to do less, that's okay. And then yoga, guys, this is what I was saying. There's so many great YouTubes now that are all fitness related for children. So Cosmic Kids has been around now for several years. It got really popular, I want to say like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And this woman, I think she's British, but basically she puts on, her videos now have gotten so much more professional and really cool with lighting and stories. But basically, she will tell you a story while you're doing a 15 to 30-minute yoga session. Some of them are even shorter. And one of them that's really popular is Star Wars yoga. And so while she's telling you the story of Star Wars, there's pictures and video of Star Wars going behind you, but she's doing every single yoga pose based on the story. So it is so cool. So it like captivates kids because they're doing these yoga moves while listening to the story. And they see all the pictures of this movie she's talking about or whatever the story is. It's great. Lots of kids love Cosmic Kids Yoga. And then there's another one called Go With Yo-Yo, newer one. She the group here embeds flexibility training, yoga, and then they also do a lot of mindfulness. So little short meditations, a lot of grounding. Have you guys heard of body scanning? Where that's also a beautiful practice to do, even just in their bed. I think Go With Yo-Yo does this. They just lay down in their bed, on the floor, wherever, and the video will say, okay, we're going to start from head to toe, and they take them through a very simple meditation mindfulness practice. Nothing crazy with mantras and chants, nothing like that, but just like thinking about their breath. They do a lot of breath work, and we're going to start circulating breath from the tip of our head. Feel the oxygen going from the tip of your head, rolling down through your eyebrows to your eyes. And it's a body scan. So they're literally thinking about every single part of their body while they do this big, beautiful, deep breath. And just, it is so grounding. So you guys can Google body scanning, kids body scanning. And there's just really great mini 2 to 5 minute practices online. It's great to do before bed too. We do this at Evergrow. Our kindergarten teacher, after lunch, she has them lay on the floor and it's a little YouTube. And I kid you not, in like 3 minutes, those kids are silent. They're quiet after lunch where they're all like this. And some of them have knockout. They like fall asleep in 5 minutes or less of doing this body scan and just slow grounding practice. So highly encourage this stuff, you guys. It's so easy. It's free. You don't have to subscribe or like pay for any of this stuff. Okay. Cardio and strength training, just move your body. Aerobic training just means with oxygen. So what can you guys do? I think you probably already know a lot of this stuff or do it already, but jumping, guys, jump, jump, jump. There's one thing you probably maybe see Season do a lot of in her own personal workouts at home is rebounding. Guys, jumping on the trampoline. And if you don't have a trampoline and you can still have your little guy just jump, even if it's like, hey, we're going to do 10 jumping jacks, pause, and then do like bunny jumps, anything that involves the jumping, the up and down motion of our bodies, that turns on your lymphatic system. And your lymphatic system wakes up, and that's the system that really helps to flush out toxins and get all, I call it the bad guys that build up and make our bodies slower and make our bodies not work as better. So that lymphatic system wakes up and really starts pushing out all of the toxins, getting them off our body, more blood flow, more oxygen flow. And if there's one thing you remember from like cardio, try to get your kids to jump. Now, even, and you know, if they just can't jump because legs, knees are really hurting, that's okay. That's where, when they're ready, but that's where trampoline helps minimize the impact. So if you can get your hands on one of those small trampolines, they're very, very helpful. Anyone want to comment on that? Season, I know you did this a lot with kicker.
Yeah, sorry, I'm eating my dinner.
Sorry, I got you mid-bite.
No, it's good, but it's so true. And you guys, a lot of people ask me all the time, does it have to be a rebounder? Or can it be any trampoline? It can be any trampoline, any bouncing, like Diana said. It could be a jump rope. It could be, as she said, just jumping up and down, hopscotch. But what is nice, if your kids are experiencing any pain or their body feels a little bit more sensitive, a normal trampoline is very forgiving.
Yeah.
And so letting them do like somersaults and seat drops and and I would encourage you to get on there with them, because I don't know about you, but my kids are like stage 5 clingers. And so they want to always have me be a part of what they're doing. And that, you know, it takes more time. Of course, we prefer them to be like totally independent. But doing it with them, and it helps your lymphatic system detox as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
any jumping, but any trampoline, jump rope is great, but a trampoline, like Diana said, is really forgiving if they have, like, if they're sore or uncomfortable.
Yeah. And then if any of you guys have access to a pool, that's even more forgiving too. If they do like water aerobics, jumping in there, that buoyancy of the water is just so like soft and flowing for their bodies. So any of this stuff can be done in the water. Honestly, you know, as long as they can stand, right, and the water's just to like their belly or under, they can swish, they can go side to side, they can dance, put music on, they can jump in the water up and down. Water aerobics is actually another great practice for cancer warriors. And we usually see it with adults. I would love to see a kids water aerobic class in like a kiddie pool. It would be, oh my gosh, we need to create that. I haven't seen that at all. We need to do that for kids.
That's a really good idea, because we were just at a resort last weekend, not too far from our house. And they had like, we came out at 8 in the morning, whatever, and they were doing the adult water aerobics, and it was all like geriatrics, you know, it was the older generation. And Kicker actually said, he's like, what are they doing? And I was like, oh, they're doing what we call water aerobics. He's like, why aren't any kids in there? You know, so yes, that's actually a really good point. I love it. I never thought about that as actually part of like movement for kids.
Oh, and it's so fun. What kid doesn't like playing in the water, you know, unless there's like some kind of fear with water, but usually it's just such a fun, easy way for kids to play. So if you do have access to a pool, try that, put some music on and just have them move all around, just like as if they were dancing outside, have them dance inside that water. Okay, games, make it all a game for kids. This is one of my favorite things is if you guys remember the old school game when maybe we were in elementary school, red light, green light, when you have them running from one point to the other point, and the goal is to try to get to the end line as fast as possible. So you say green light, and that means they run. You say yellow, and that means they walk, and red light is stop. It's a very old school classic game, but you can change it up and make it like superhero style. So or animal style. So you could like call out a superhero, Hulk, and instead of, you know, just running, they can do two-legged monster hops, just jump. Flash means sprint. Spider-Man, do a bear crawl on the ground. Superman, lie on your belly and just lift your arms up, and then they're doing a little bit of core and low back there. So you guys can change this up. One time when I taught this very similar workshop at one of the cancer retreats, do you remember, Season? I had everybody get up and do this. I had all the parents stand up. We're like, we're gonna do the jungle run, guys, and they all did it with me. And everyone's like, I didn't know I was gonna get a workout today, but it's so fun. And we did it for like a minute. And you can totally make a game out of anything with kids. The jungle run's always fun. You tell them we're going through the jungle. Every time we see a mud puddle, you have to jump. Every time you see quicksand, quick feet, get out of there. And you just make them go, 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 faster, faster. And then you say, oh no, there's a tree branch, and you squat. So every time you call out tree branch, they're doing a little squat. And then tiger, oh no, hide. You get down into a plank, and then they're working their little core and muscular system too. But guys, again, I don't feel like, oh my God, I have to remember all this stuff. Absolutely not. I can share this with you guys, but just make it a game. In any which way, you know your kids better than anyone. And if they like races, make all the races. If they like Nerf gun battles, make an obstacle course. You can do so many fun things with kids, and it's considered exercise. Tag. Oh my gosh. Tag is like the glorious game that all kids would still love to play with their parents. I have a 12-year-old and we'll play tag still, and it's just so fun for them. But there's all kinds of versions. There's hot dog tag. There's a toilet tag is probably the favorite amongst kids because it's the toilet. Oh my God, she said toilet. So what happens is if try this at home with your kiddos, if they get tagged, they become a toilet. So literally they do a little squat. If you could see me, and they put their hand out. This is the handle, the flush. And in order for them to get untagged, they're saying, flush me, flush me. And then another person who's not tagged goes, flushes the toilet, and then they can go and run again. It's so silly, but hey, you let kids talk about the toilet or bathroom talk and you lost them. They're having the best time ever. And love tag is like Valentine's Day love tag. In order to get untagged, you have to give somebody some love. You have to give them a hug. So just so many unique ways on how to play the good old school game of tag. This, you guys, again, YouTube is like saving generation here for, I mean, it could be really, really bad, but for parents looking for creative things, like you could YouTube so many different things. These are really fun YouTube channels that are all fitness related. There's Kaboomers, PE with Joe, Go Noodle. A lot of you probably know Go Noodle or Cuckoo Kangaroo. Those songs get very annoying if you know Cuckoo Kangaroo after some time. But hey, kids love this stuff. And then video games. Some people have love-hate relationship with video games. I get it. You know your kids best if you allow them to play or not or whatever. But now there's a lot of actually fitness-based games that can be really fun for them. That could be their screen time and they're moving. Like one of my kids' favorites, and I personally love it, I jump in and do it with them, is Just Dance. You guys seen Just Dance where you have to follow along the little person and try to get more points than your partner. So many cool cardio fitness games out there. And then last thing, you guys, as far as the third thing, so we have flexibility, we have cardio, and then strength training. Again, no need for heavy weight at all. No need for any dumbbells at all. Just use your body. Squats. You can do lunges. You can do wall sits you can do basic stair climbing. Go up and down your flight of stairs if you're in a hospital. I mean, just walking for some people can be considered a strength training when they have not been able to use their legs for a while for whatever reason. That is using a lot of power and strength to do that. So we want to get their muscles strong, especially post-treatment. And so if whatever age your child is, you can even have them do push-ups just off a wall. So imagine if there was a wall here and they're standing, they're just pushing up and down, up and down. And that is like a very simple version of a push-up. Then you do it off a table and then you can work your way to do it off the floor, right? But there's so many simple ways to get them to strengthen their bodies. And if you do want to add, give them like a little weight, if you will. If they're like, Mom, I can't stand up, or I'm just going to sit down on my bed and do this, give them a little water bottle and just up and down, right? Like we're going to count to 10 or we're going to throw on a song. We're going to do this for like 15 seconds and then they switch, right? They could do bicep curls, but just with something super light. Bands are always very helpful for kiddos as well. But again, this can be wrapped all in a game. This can all be wrapped in with the cardio and doesn't have to be like we're going to do 15 minutes of strength training followed by 15 minutes of cardio followed by 15 minutes of flexibility and strength. I mean, you can sprinkle it in as you guys see fit with what works with your schedule and with the energy levels that your children are showing you guys. Obviously, what is like the guideline? Sure, 60 minutes or more of physical activity each day. But if you can't get 60 minutes in, okay, listen to your kids' needs. Most kids do a lot more than 60 minutes, even little cancer warriors, because why? All they do is play. They just want to play, 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 and that is physical activity. Last thing, you guys, here, just to kind of wrap up on just basic tips. Somebody said it. I don't know if it was Shannon or maybe Susan at the beginning of the call, but make it a family deal. Plan and schedule when, as a family, you guys are going to work out together, or you're going to do a 5-10 minute circuit. make some active play dates. We're going to go to a park, or we're going to go to the backyard and do something to a fun obstacle course. Some of the community walk jogs are so fun, like different races. There's a 1K that Glendora is soon to do, and we're trying to get all the kids out there. It's just over half a mile of walking. I love what you guys are going to do. Your what are you calling it? The dash? What's it called? Hope. Say it again. The name?
Dash for Hope.
Dash for Hope. That is so cool. And you guys can talk more about, but it's just walking. It's just on that day, you're going to walk like a walkathon, right? I love that. I love that. So, I mean, the more you can just go on walks with your kids, it's a great, great physical activity. And then the little bursts of exercise throughout the day. Nowadays, there's not really commercial breaks because everybody's watching Netflix and Hulu, although they're trying to throw commercial breaks now and that stuff. But what I always used to do too is during the commercial break, we're going to all do 10 jumping jacks, or we're going to try to do sit-ups until the show comes back on, just a challenge of some sort. But guys, there's so many cool ways that just as a family, as a unit, you guys can do this. And what does that show? You're showing your kids such a great example. And you don't need to know it all. You don't need to be perfect in your movement. It's just like, hey, and I always say this, the younger the child is when you start something, hopefully that memory is going to last that much longer. But kids of all ages can start this. So don't feel like, oh no, I'm too late. My son's already 12. You can start this at any age. But when the child remembers, our memory is so powerful. When the child associates fun with exercise, they're going to want to keep doing it for life. And we want them to be lifelong movers, well after cancer treatment as well, lifelong movers. So I always like to say this, although I will never be an advocate for McDonald's, Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, had a really genius idea in trying to get customers for life. So when he created the Happy Meal and the playground inside McDonald's, what did that do to that child? I get to go to McDonald's and I get a really yummy, horrible for you meal with a toy. I get a toy and I get to play inside McDonald's. So a little 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old loves going to McDonald's because they get all that fun. And Ray Kroc was like, genius, if I can get a 5-year-old to want to keep coming back and always remember how fun McDonald's was, he's going to come back as a 15-year-old. He's going to come back as a 20, 25, 50-year-old. And he got a customer for life because he tapped into their emotional love for fun. And so if we can do that with exercise, tap into the emotional love for like, this is so much fun. I laugh, even though I'm sweating, like back to my breast cancer warriors, when she took off that wig and just let loose and had so much fun around a community of women that were just empowering her. Like, she kept coming every Tuesday and Thursday to all my Zumba classes. And I still believe that she's probably still doing Zumba till this day. So make it fun, because even well after cancer, they're going to associate, wow, during that hard moment of my life, my mom, my dad, my family, my community just made this so fun for me that I want to keep feeling that, and I want to do it for life. And that's where, whether you're fighting cancer or not, that's kind of my motto with exercise, like make it enjoyable so that you want to keep doing it over and over and over again. Don't worry about this. That's about it. Any questions for me, you guys?
I just had a couple thoughts to add in there, just in case you're in a moment where you can't stuff anything else in your car to bring to the hospital that week, or you completely forgot to bring a hacky sack or whatever. One of the easiest things is blowing up the nurse's gloves. Put a little turkey face on it with the goiter or whatever else, and then they get to hit that around the hallways. My 3-year-old would chase that thing around on the hallways forever, and still, even at 10 years old, she loves like stealing the nurse's gloves and blowing them up.
Fun.
She's like, it's my favorite thing. The other thing, the hospitals are not really good at communicating to you what is available. So this is part of being an advocate, which we talked about last week, and asking, like, where is the playground for kids? Where is this location? I heard from a mom that we would meet up in the hallways with our kids and do lunges and stuff. that there was an outside playground, our last in treatment there. Our last, and I didn't even know that they had a place that we could visit like that with my kid. And I was like, we've missed this the whole time. But their job is not there to make sure that you're having fun there, or and they're not interested in having a list of that stuff either, from what I found out. So this is coming with a question for you, Diana, and only because, you know, I've seen this we've posted about Emmett before, and how his muscles had started to deteriorate. Like, working out was his life, but he wasn't energetic. He was always lethargic. He was losing so much weight. But it wasn't until mom started implementing some things like nutrition and detoxification that allowed him to feel better, so that he could move and have exercise. So maybe just speak to that really quick. I know it's not on nutrition or detoxification, but how does that play a role?
Oh, so much. You guys, what you eat is like, that's your fuel. That is what's not just for your energy levels, but your mood as well. And like we talked about rebounding with detoxing, we want to get that stuff that is even from chemotherapy and just the toxins that we're constantly breathing in around. When that is overloaded, it's going to make your body feel that much heavier and weighted down to even move, to even do the basic of day-to-day movements. So when we can implement the detox therapies that Season and Kid Cancer team teaches you guys so well, and the healthy nutrition, I mean, eating and exercise, they go hand in hand, not just to like look good, but for little Emmett to be able to recover faster, to be able to feel better, even though his muscles, I can't imagine emotionally too, how he must be feeling. Like, I used to do so much activity and now it's hard to do the basic of things. But when your diet and your detoxing capabilities are really pumping strong, that emotionally too is going to just naturally make you feel a little bit better than if you're just not paying attention to those things at all and you're weighing your body down with even more heaviness of fast food and junk food, and not being able to detox. So those play a huge role in healing. I would honestly, if exercise is not a possibility right now, don't worry about it. What you want to definitely do is eat well and detox. Always start those, I feel like, trump exercise. And once the little one is able to, like, okay, I'm feeling like I could move some more, then yeah, then you implement this stuff we've been talking about today. But those two need to be really, really focused on.
And then I have a feeling that this question could be going around some of the minds here, so I'm just gonna come out and address it now. But
Yeah.
I do think it's important to keep in mind some safety practices as well when we have PICC lines and ports and tubes. My kid used to call them tubies. So as long as we're encouraging you to keep your kids active, we also have to be aware of the possibilities of tripping over tubies or pulling
100%.
them out. And so we want to be very cautious, right? And so when we're doing those things, like, do you have anything to add as far as what are some ways that we've been able to encourage activity and safety all at the same time, especially when they have their ports attached?
Yeah, that's again where you see where what level and what season your kid's in, but just progression is honestly the best thing I'd say for that. Like, so sure, if they are connected to a lot of things, no, you're not going to have them doing an obstacle course running back and forth down the halls. That's where you might do some of the seated stuff I mentioned, like, you know, this kind of stuff, throw some music on, or basic things that don't get necessarily all in the way. And then maybe you reach out to your nurse, or if they have any kind of like PT during the day, or some, you know, some guided professionals that, like, hey, can you help me walk with my son outdoors? And they're moving. I had to do some, my dad had horrible dementia, and at one point he was like kind of connected to lots of things, and he loved soccer. And so I remember holding, he had like a bag and a tube, and I would hold it and he would just kick the ball against the wall for some time, and when I'd go visit him. But yeah, if you could even help assist your child in that way, holding the things to make sure they can still move their body, but really just progression, really reading your child's needs, where they're at, and obviously always keep it safe.
Well, at this time, I really just want to open this up to the moms and see if any of you have any questions or maybe something that you want to add that you've experienced that you think could be a great idea for some of these other moms here. So if anybody has any questions or just comments, your own experiences.
While we're waiting for people to share, I want to encourage you, Diana mentioned this, but it is so important that you lead the way. And I know it feels hard because you're exhausted and you don't feel like you have the energy. Some days we always say grief is like a backpack, and what you're walking through is grief. Grief, some people associate with loss, but grief is mourning what was and mourning what you're walking through. And so when we recognize that, and we recognize that grief is kind of like a backpack you never take off. Some days it feels like there's 75 bricks and you can't even hardly pull yourself out of bed because it's so heavy. And some days you don't even notice it's there, right? But it's there, it's always there. But the only way for you to be a really good caregiver and for you to love and support your child well is for you to be well. And rather than spending thousands of dollars on supplements and thousands of dollars on organic foods, like you showing up for your child and giving them an example of what it looks like to move your body. And, you know, to the point Diana made, and I put in the chat, if that is just walking after each meal, as far as you guys can go, you could be walking around the kitchen, walking up the stairs, walking outside on your neighborhood, depending on where your child's at. But this is a hard truth. It's on you. And they're going to follow you and they're going to do what you do. And people will comment if they follow me on Instagram, like, oh, how do your kids do that? Or why do they do that? It's because we've just led the way. Like, they've seen us doing it. And I am not a motivated person. Dana and Diana are two examples of people who are far more motivated than me to work out. Like, I went to college with Diana and we were roommates, and she would get up at the butt crack of dawn and go work out and teach workout classes. And she would make me go, and I would prefer to not. Dana, I've traveled with her a few times and she's like, okay, you guys ready to work out? I'm like, no, I'm on vacation. So I'm saying this from the perspective of somebody that is not naturally motivated. I actually have to decide to do it every morning and remind myself I'm setting an example for my kids. And again, to Diana's point, it doesn't need to be lifting heavy. You don't need to be a marathon runner. You don't even need to like do some crazy workout class. But your kids are going to follow what you do. And so lead by example, even if it's walking after a meal.
I love this. Do we have any questions? Anybody? Chime in. It's a small group. You don't have to, you can just take yourself off mute if anybody has questions. No? Well, then Shannon and I are going to transition. If any of you guys want to stay and talk to us about our cancer starter kits, we'd love to go over any of the items, or if you have questions. If you haven't received one of our kits, I will also share how to do that. Before I let you guys go, though, I want to share real quick. Hold on. I just want to show you guys what we have coming up. Hopefully you guys can everybody see our dates and topics? Yeah. Okay. So this is what we have. Oh, I think this is my old one. Dang it. This is our old one. We have, sorry, I thought I had the other one up. Well, I'm just going to tell you guys, we have the next few months booked out. We have, I'm going to stop sharing now until I can find that. Next month, we are meeting with Autumn from Paleo Valley, and she's going to talk about the importance of holistic nutrition when it comes to helping your child through cancer. After that, we are going to have Mark McCaffrey from Raw Farms. He's going to come on and talk about, I mean, this man is like, he's my new favorite person. Like, listening to him talk about raw foods and just the difference it can make in your journey. They were a huge part of Kicker's journey. So he's going to come on and talk to you guys about some of the misconceptions when it comes to raw, real food when you're treating cancer. After that, we have Dagmara. Shannon, maybe you know a little bit more about Dagmara. She's phenomenal.
Yeah, Dr.
Yeah, you,
Diana Bain, actually her book just released recently of how to take care of a child in treatment. So that just came out, but she's gonna be going more so over individualized care. Just knowing that all of our kids are different and how important that is. And we don't see that aspect in the hospitals, that they're all treated pretty much the same and not necessarily
Yeah.
looking at their bio-individuality. So
and then we're booked all the way out to September. Then we also have Missy, who's a cancer mama. And she's amazing. And she has really embodied what we stand for. Got our cancer kit, really implemented it. So she's going to come on and talk from a mother standpoint of how she implemented all these things that we talk about into real life. So we've got a really great lineup for you guys for the next 6 months. So I hope you have enjoyed this. Diana, you are phenomenal. I can't wait to meet you in person, although I feel like I have, because Season just raves about you. So thank you for being here and sharing all this. I would be happy to share your presentation with this crew. And then I also reshared some of the links, guys. So don't forget about Season's free webinar. I think some of you are already signed up for that, but I put the link there. It's on May 23rd, same time. And then I also put the Evergrow Academy and our Dash for Hope. So what a perfect time for us to soft launch our Dash for Hope when we're talking about movement. You can get on there. I literally just pressed live right before this. So some of you could be our first participants, but this is going to be our largest fundraiser of the year. It helps us do more things like this. It helps us. Season and I are dreamers. So sometimes we plan things before we actually have the funds to create it. So we spoke it into existence that this retreat is happening in 2025. So it's going to happen in 2025, but events like this.
But the Dash for Hope has to be successful to fund the retreat. Diana says, I am ready, fire, aim.
Yep.
So I don't aim first, I fire and then I aim. So all that to say, no pressure, but you guys have to make this Dash for Hope successful so we can have the retreat in 2025.
Yes. And then also our cancer birthdays, our Kit Cancer birthdays will be launched. So I'll send you guys out more information, but we'd love to celebrate your little ones, share them on social media, and have you guys help us fundraise that way too. So we just are so grateful for your support. Diana, you're amazing. Thank you for being here. Season,
thank you
thank
guys
you.
so much. Thank you.
I always we've only had 2 of these and I've gotten sweaty eyes both times. So I'm just convinced now that I'm going to cry on every one of these calls.
I love it.
So thanks.
Well, and you guys, we're uploading these recordings to our YouTube channel as well. So find us on YouTube and you'll be able to rewatch or share with any families in your clinic. Any of these recordings, they're on our YouTube channel too. So
Awesome.
thank you, Tia. Te amo mucho.
Love you. Thank you. Love you.
Thanks,
Bye,
Anna.
guys.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you guys are still here, I'm assuming you want to talk a little bit about our kits. So hopefully, did any of you guys have questions?